This video is brought to you by TS4U IT Engineering Bootcamp.
So as you have seen our JD job description, we are using the AWS very heavily. Most of the recent application we are developing everything is deploying on the AWS. We do the actually a multi-region because we have team in the Europe team is, of course, the application is many traffic is in the US and in the Europe. So I would like to ask some questions based on your resume. So number one question, can you please explain the key features, the EC2, such as auto scanning, load balancing, and the security groups?
Of course, thank you. So I actually use EC2 instances, EC2 for these purposes. There are some environments in the company I'm working at that uses the bare metal solutions for some of the internal applications. So those don't have so many users, so those are pretty much running on their own. So we have specific instances for our caching servers. We have specific instances for our Sandbox databases and the Sandbox applications that can be staging or development servers. So some of the internal productions also run on those EC2 instances. So the team and I actually choose that, okay, we consider how many users there will be for this kind of application. And then after analyzing those requirements, our team chooses that, okay, this looks like it's good to go and it is fitting for the application for just one bare metal server. Then these applications need to go to an auto scaling or in like a load balanced environment. So we choose, our team and I choose the number of we choose based on the requirements, basically, that we have. Like our project manager can show us that, okay, these are the number of users, our project manager approves of it, that we will use it for, and then the teams that will be actually using the application. So based on if the application is internal or if the application is external, or also if we have to consider that multiple clients will be using it, based on that, our team and I actually use the bare metal servers or the auto-scaled versions. So if our team uses the bare metal ones, we just go ahead and launch some of the EC2 instances and configure our servers with the Ansible tool. And then we just install applications like if it's staging, then we just push our staging configurations and launch the application. But if it is production, we actually configure the application with production. So that that is for the bare metals part. But as for the EC2 instances, our team and I, we have auto scaling configured for some of the applications. So those applications are actually quite resource heavy and require load balancers in front of them. So the clients actually use the internal B2B panels that we have, the admin panels. So they actually need to make these applications available all the time. And so for those reasons, our team and I decided we did not want to go for direct bare metal instances because they will actually be a single point of failure. So for that reason, and all of the other reasons I listed, we actually opted to go for auto scaling so that we have multiple instances, so that even if the one instance crashes, we have some other instances to back it up, since there are multiple instances and we cannot keep our users multiple IP addresses, right? So for those reasons, we actually have the load balancers in front of the auto scaling group. And for our use case, we also use the ELBs on AWS in front of the auto scaling group. So the setup is kind of like we have an ALB in front of our auto scaling group. And the auto scaling group has some target groups. And so our auto scaling group actually reads what's coming from the user end and analyzes the metadata and analyzes the header, URI that the user would want to go to, and based on that, traffic is sent to the appropriate target groups. So those target groups have multiple instances configured, and the load balancer always checks if they're in healthy states. Let's say if one instance crashes, then the load balancer marks it as unhealthy so that the instance will not receive any of that traffic. So we kind of have our own resilient, highly available setup with the EC2 instances on AWS so that our B2B clients can use them without any downtime. And this is how we continue to make sure that EC2s and auto scaling groups and the targets groups, and particularly and importantly, the load balancers are all combined to secure and make the system resilient, fault tolerant, and has an ability to correct itself.
Thank you. Thank you.